Good afternoon, people. It is Monday and Memorial Day. And I was thinking about today, and I want to find out from you what Memorial Day means to you. To me, it's a day of remembering my time in the Navy. I spent 5.5 years in the Navy, from 2000 to 2006, and it was a great experience for me. Memorial Day also makes me think about the men and women over the course of history, both past, present, and future, that have given up their time selflessly to defend the freedoms that we have here in this country as they exist. I have a lot of admiration for people that volunteer for the military, being a military guy myself who volunteered. And it definitely takes a certain type of person to volunteer themselves selflessly to defend this country. And I have a lot of respect for them, and I just wanted y'all to know that. Now, I'm going to talk about, in this vlog today, a few of my experiences, just to share with you. And hopefully y'all are having a great Memorial Day. September 11th for me was a very memorable day. It was a couple of weeks before my 1-year anniversary of being in the Navy, and we were coming out of a dry dock situation, only it wasn't dry, but we were getting the ship worked on, and we pulled back up to the port in Ingleside, and everybody on the pier and all the other ships were in tactical vests, the helmets, and we had no clue what was going on. So we pulled up and we asked somebody on the pier, and they told us that the World Trade Centers had been bombed. And kind of rolling rock down the hill, we heard about everything else. And they secured us on the ship. They wouldn't let us leave for 3 days. And even though we were in home port, they wouldn't let us leave the pier, wouldn't let us leave the ship. They had me stand a 50 cal machine gun watch on the top deck, and my only standing orders were that if I saw anything flying, anything mechanical flying, I was to shoot it down. That was kind of a eye-opener for me that, hey, this is real. I will never forget that experience. My first ever watch on a Navy ship. Well, first ever gun watch on a Navy ship, let's put it that way. But yeah, it's not too many times you're given a gun and told to shoot anything that moves, basically. So that's why that day will always be memorable for me. Just confusion, craziness, didn't know what to expect, scared. In fact, it was a couple of weeks after September 11th, and we were starting to be able to go back out onto the base, and I was down in our compartment in the ship on the fantail, and down below, slightly below the water level, none of the ships in the area had what's called a active sonar. They're all passive. They never put a active ping out into the water. And I was down there one day and we heard an active ping. Now the channel's pretty deep there, and there's a lot of like tanker ships, cargo ships that go through there. But when we heard that, we all ran up to the fantail, the top side, and there was nothing passing by. Nothing whatsoever. So we kind of thought maybe there was a sub in the area, a submarine, and that was kind of scary. But yeah, there's just a couple of my experiences while I was in the Navy. My most memorable experience was on my second ship, the USS Halliburton, out of Mayport, Florida here. And we did a 6-month counter-narcotics deployment down in South America. This basically was, we were chasing down drug runners from like Colombia and Panama and just a bunch of the South American countries there. We were down in the Caribbean, and we even went through the Panama Canal and did some work on the Pacific side as well. But 6 months worth of it, we were able to stop 1.7 metric tons of cocaine, totaling about $3.6 million at the time. We also took on detainees, and on our way back to the States at the end of the deployment, we stopped by in Cuba and dropped them off there to be to have their trial and be processed and do whatever they need to do. But that was a especially fun deployment because it was neat getting to see all these different countries. We did pull into Colombia, Ecuador, Cuba, Guatemala, Panama, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Ecuador. And we spent a couple of days in each. It was actually kind of fun pulling into Colombia. I kept sitting there thinking, it's like, why do we keep pulling into a port that we're hurting their major income? It wasn't a really safe port, but we got like hazardous duty pay every time we pulled in there, so that was cool. But yeah, I have a lot of good memories on that deployment, and we did granted, I never went to like Iraq and for the war and all that, but we were waging our own war against drugs. And it was a lot of fun. I'm going to show you guys some clips that I put together for my Navy tribute video from our deployment. I'm going to just show you a few of those clips, and I'm going to have a link here to that video if you want to see the full video. It was a lot of fun, but I hope you all enjoy this little montage segment. hopefully y'all enjoyed that little segment there. I guess I'm just gonna enjoy the day today. And I want to say kind of a closing message from Memorial Day to all those family members and people out there that are in the military or were in the military or are going to go into the military. I have a lot of respect for you, and I know it's tough being without your family members, but you just have to think about that they'll eventually be home. But yeah, to all those military members out there, I salute you. I said in yesterday's vlog that I was going to show you the souvenirs that I got for my trip to St. Augustine yesterday. St. Augustine is a big pirate-related port from history, and I'm really big into pirates, partly due to what we did on that deployment, basically hunting down drug runners, taking the drugs off the boat, taking detainees, and either securing the boat that they were on or blowing it up. To me, that was legalized pirating. So in my mind, we committed acts of piracy, but it was a good thing for whatever reason. So my Navy tattoo is this one here that I designed. It's a like treasure map with the skull and crossbones. It says the letters, you can't really see them, but USN, US Navy, and the compass points south because my home is in the south. But yesterday I've got a couple of pirate stickers on my car. One of them says "Dead Men Tell No Tales," and the other one I got yesterday says "No Quarter, No Mercy," and it's got the skull and crossbones on it. But I've also got a skull and crossbones little like cork wood hanger that hangs from the mirror. I think you've seen that. But yeah, I'm really into pirates, and based on my experiences, and yeah, that's just one of the things I got. And then I got a new member of the family, something to be a souvenir and a reminder of Florida for me, something I've kind of always wanted but never really got until now. But my new member of the family is my alligator head. And Scarlett yesterday recommended I call it Augie, so this is Augie the Alligator. She also told me that they had much larger ones, but they were much more expensive, and this is pretty cool. She helped me pick out the one that had like the best teeth and all this, but she told me that a good rule of thumb is the measurement from the tip of the snout to the eyes, which this one's like 3.5 inches or so, equals how big this croc was in feet. So based on this length, sorry, I said croc, this is an alligator. Based on the measurement here, this alligator was probably a good 3.5 feet long when it was live. But this is pretty cool. I really like it. And it's going to make a nice addition for my display shelf or my china cabinet. But, yep, that is Florida for me.